Hi, my name is Mike Ward. I'm the Global Director of Content at Scrip, The Pink Sheet and Invivo. We're here at the Biotech Showcase 2018, which is a meeting that runs parallel with the JP Morgan Healthcare Conference, which is the industry's typical kick-off startup meeting of the year, where pharmaceutical executives, investors, biotech executives all get together to sort of discuss the issues that are affecting them, what keeps them awake at night, what progress they've been making, and also start initial discussions on the kind of deals that they might be making. Now, clearly, in the pharmaceutical space, there are always sort of areas that are really, really hot. So for the past few years, the hottest area has been in sort of immuno-oncology space, where people are talking about checkpoint inhibitors. We've also seen a big upsurge in the cell therapy, CAR-T, gene therapy space as well. Every now and then, though, there are some sort of niche areas which might be surprising as still catching attention. So I'm joined by James Manuso, who's the President and CEO of a company called RespireRx. And James, you guys are in the sleep apnea space, and sleep apnea, it almost sounds like it might put you to sleep. It doesn't sound like the hottest place.
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm not talking about snoring. I'm talking about the complete cessation of breathing for potentially up to 50 times an hour in the course of the night. That's very different from mild snoring. What you should know is that there are about 30 million Americans who suffer from obstructive sleep apnea. This is a peripheral nervous system phenomenon, and if you have a comorbidity, such as heart failure, diabetes, or stroke, obstructive sleep apnea can kill you. So we're talking about a potentially lethal disease here, in addition to the fact that if you don't sleep well at night, what happens? You sleep during the day. And if you fall asleep when you're driving a train, for example, you can crash the train, kill people, or what about auto accidents and industrial accidents and the like? It's actually a major epidemic in this country.
But is it not true that those sleep apneas can be treated with devices?
Obstructive sleep apnea can. Central sleep apnea cannot. But with respect to obstructive sleep apnea, if people use the CPAP device religiously, every night, all night long, they work 100%. Unfortunately, about 30% of the people do follow through who are diagnosed and prescribed the CPAP device. And therein lies the opportunity and the problem.
So 70% don't, is that what you're...
That's correct. Now keep in mind, only about 6 million of the 30 million have been diagnosed, and of those, a smaller number have been prescribed, and of those, a smaller number still have been are using the device properly. So our target market would be people who have been diagnosed as having obstructive sleep apnea, but either will not or do not, for any variety of reasons, use the device.
Right, and the device provides a positive pressure. So what is the approach, or what is it that your medicine will do?
That's exactly right. It's called dronabinol. It's delta-9 THC. It's a small molecule. You take it approximately 1 hour before you go to sleep at night. And what causes obstructive sleep apnea is a pathway from the spinal ganglia down to the smooth muscles in the throat. What our medicine does is very gently stiffen those muscles so they don't collapse.
Okay. And what sort of proof of principle have you shown with this?
Well, recently completed was a phase 2B clinical trial. And what that trial demonstrated is that up to 10 points decrease in the apnea-hypopnea index is possible using the medicine. Now, I'll tell you why that's significant. If you're a severe sufferer, that has the potential to decrease the severity and put you in the moderate range. If you're a moderate sufferer, has the potential to bring you down to the mild range. And if you're low mild, maybe even into the normal range. So it's clinically significant, statistically significant, and it's been proven to be extremely safe because this is an already approved medicine and we're repurposing it for this indication.
So what is it already used for?
It's already approved for cancer patients' nausea and vomiting, and AIDS patients' lack of appetite.
Right. Oh, okay. But actually, it can also. You're now. Have you done anything different with the drug so that it can be used for sleep apneas?
That's a great question. At this point, we've used the 10 milligram dose and have not changed it at all. In future, what we will do is a timed release version so that smaller amounts of the medicine are delivered continuously over the course of the night.
And you mentioned that, for example, with sleep apnea, you can have something like 50
episodes.
Waking episodes within an hour.
Well, no, you don't have to wake up. And interestingly, most people who have obstructive sleep apnea don't remember that they had the cessation of breathing episode at night. In fact, the typical diagnostician is the spouse. And they bring more often than not, the wife brings the husband in to the physician and says they can't sleep at night because the husband's waking up so much, choking.
Right. So if it's 50 episodes in an hour,
that's very severe.
Right. What would therefore be the sort of the impact of your medicine, do you think? Would that bring down from 50 to 40, or is it?
It's very hard to say. You're asking a clinical question that's going to vary patient by patient. What we can say is that we've observed, with respect to the close to 60 people in the trial, that on average we're able to decrease the apnea-hypopnea index down to 10 points below.
Okay, so you've done the phase 2 trial.
Phase 2B.
Yeah, phase 2B trial, and you've done that on your own dollar?
Actually, the NIH, the National Institute of Health, gave the University of Illinois at Chicago and Northwestern University a $5 million grant in order to complete this trial. And it was indicated in the Sleep Journal and at the last year's Sleep Conference, these fabulous results for obstructive sleep apnea patients.
Okay, so going forward, what's the plan, and how are you going to finance it?
Well, the next step, of course, is to get an approval, ideally for the medicine, because it would appear to potentially qualify for what's called a 505(b)(2) approach at FDA. What that basically means is that you get a very rapid approval based on this extensive efficacy with a national health problem, and that you've already demonstrated safety. We have a 15-year history of safety, so safety is really not the issue. The big issue was, does it work? And now it's been demonstrated that it does work. So in a perfect world, we would hope to qualify for a 505(b)(2). If for any reason that is not possible, we would go to a phase 3 trial and effectively reproduce the results that we've observed in the phase 2B.
And would you look to commercialize these products yourself?
Well, given the possibility that there are up to 30 million potential patients, it would be very hard for a company our size. So part of our purpose of being here is to speak with potential partners and potential financiers with regard to beefing it up going forward so we could bring this important medicine to patients in need rapidly.
Great. Well, Jim, good luck with that. And
thank you very much. I appreciate the time.